Hi, welcome to Balanced Health. I'm Shirley Rose, and this is Joe Costello. You know, as the cost of health care skyrockets in the United States, traveling abroad to receive medical care is a more attractive option than ever. And today we have as our special guest, Dr. Francisco Contreras, president of Oasis of Hope Hospital in Tijuana, Mexico, where their philosophy is, listen to this, do the body no harm, do not compromise the patient's quality of life, and love your patient as yourself. I really love that. Dr. Contreras is a distinguished oncologist and surgeon who oversees the treatments of 800 cancer patients annually, and he's co-authored a book entitled Hope, Medicine, and Healing. This book empowers readers who are battling cancer by presenting 8 therapies that work together to overcome the failings of other treatments. And by supporting the mind, body, and spirit, the book supports the needs of the whole patient. And welcome, Dr. Contreras. It's so good to have you back with us.
It is my pleasure and honor.
You're a good friend, and you've done a wonderful work down there at Oasis of Hope. And I said at the very beginning of the show, more and more Americans, because of the cost of health care, yes, and because there are treatments available elsewhere that we don't have here, are opting for going to a place like Oasis of Hope. Tell us quickly how your hospital is different, and what are some of the things that they offer that they couldn't find here in the United States?
Well, what really separates us from the rest of the hospital is not that we do alternatives, which we do,
yes,
but we also do all of the conventional therapies.
Okay.
What separates us really is what you were talking about at the last part of your introduction, is that we provide resources for our patients' emotional and spiritual needs. Mm-hmm. Because we have found that when a patient chooses to be a victor over cancer, miracles happen. And I can tell you that our statistics are so much better than the rest, not because we're so good, which we are, but because we set a platform for miracles. What do I mean by that? When a patient is a victor, no matter what's happening really, the patient has decided that cancer is not ruling over their body.
And it's not a death sentence.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a death sentence.
No, then it's like the tumor saying, it's no more fun being in this person, and go someplace else. And that is very important. We have found that spiritual fortitude is the most important resource that we can give to a patient. And what is spiritual fortitude? Well, in a nutshell, is Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Once you know that you have a ticket to heaven, your perspective on the life here on earth changes dramatically.
Right.
And as I tell my patients every time that I talk to them about this, I know that you're in no hurry to go to heaven. I'm not either. That's why you're here. And we're going to do whatever is responsible to get rid of this cancer. Yeah. But the fact is that you and I are already in heaven.
That's true.
And that
we
changes
have hope.
Things. Yes.
But you know, in my read at the beginning, I said that you pledge not to do the patient any harm, and that you would not interfere with their quality of life. Isn't that hard when you have to give traditional treatments like chemotherapy?
Very hard. So what we have done in this, and I explain in this new book, is we prepare the patient and form or provide a patient an umbrella protection against the side effects of chemotherapy, so that if they have to receive chemotherapy or radiation therapy, then the side effects are going to be almost insignificant. Okay. Most of our patients are saying, are telling me, well, I received chemotherapy before and it was hell, and now, I have a few side effects. But
now, how do you do that? Through nutrition, or how do you do that?
Basically through nutrition, through the knowledge that has been gathered in molecular biology. We can now upregulate or downregulate some of the negative effects of chemotherapy and upregulate its function. So chemotherapy is going to work better. It's going to destroy more tumor mass without the side effects, in a nutshell.
Wow, this segment is going so fast. Jump right in, Joe, but I wanted Dr. Contreras to tell us a little bit about your book. And would you have something more important to ask?
I think this is what the book is covering, and one of the things that it's covering, that's the physiological component of a spiritual attitude. In other words, when people have approached the attitude a certain way, physiologically, if their body's under less stress response because they feel better about who they are in Christ, who they are, what they're, so your prognosis is what it is based on statistics. If inside they're feeling that they're going to beat this thing, if they feel victorious because of who they are in Christ, we see less stress response physiologically body's able to physically heal better. I just want to talk about the physical side of it.
That's absolutely right. And, you know, for the longest time, they've been criticizing us that we sell false hope and that we're just brainwashing our patients. And now we have a whole science around it, which is called psychoneuroimmunology, that actually your thoughts interact with your brain, and your brain sends information to your glands that produce certain chemicals that are going to stimulate or shut down your immune system.
That's
Fascinating. And I want to talk more about that. And you have some personal stories
Yes.
that you want to share with us as well. So we're going to get to that.
Physiological is the biggest word I could come up with. So his
Did-
was
you
bigger,
did
but everybody
good.
said the same thing, right?
Yes.
You did good. But even when you were with us on our last show, you were telling us, we ran out of time, you were telling us about some great stories. And I assume that you have data to back up what you just stated.
Correct. So, you know, I was telling you about this aunt that was diagnosed with cancer of the colon, metastasis to the liver, very poor prognosis, according to the book, 4 months. And 2 years later, after our therapy, she's free of tumor, and yet she couldn't sleep because she was afraid of when the cancer would come back. And so even though she was cancer-free, she was still a victim of cancer.
It's all hold that thought. It's
Still
all
in bondage,
psychological, because we do have to take a quick break, even though we're having a great discussion here. But when we return, Dr. Contreras will continue sharing more about his book and some alternative therapy. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Balanced Health.